Hey y'all, and welcome back to Rebel with a Cause, Call to the Case. I'm Kitty, that's Lola, and this is part 2 of Asha Degree's story. In part 1, we covered Asha's vibrant personality, her loving family, and the morning of her disappearance. If you haven't heard that episode yet, please pause here and go back. The story deserves to be heard in full. Now, let's talk about the second half of her story, where leads fade, questions grow, and justice waits. A 9-year-old girl full of life walked out into a stormy night in 2000 and vanished. Her name was Asha Degree, and even 25 years later, we're still searching for answers. Let's begin where the evidence left us, in the woods of Burke County, North Carolina. It was August 3rd, 2001. A contractor was digging off of Highway 18, some 26 miles north of Shelby, when he unearthed a black plastic trash bag. Inside it was another bag, and inside that was Asha's book bag. It had her name stitched inside, along with 2 books checked out from her school library, one of them being McElligot's Pool by Dr. Seuss, and several articles of clothing. Most puzzling of all, a New Kids on the Block concert t-shirt in an adult size. Asha's mother swears she's never seen that t-shirt before, and Asha wasn't a fan of the group, so there's no indication that she owned or wore the shirt. So where did it come from? Could it have been a gift, a lure, or could it have belonged to someone else? Investigators do believe that the bag was deliberately hidden there to distance someone from the crime or to cover their tracks. It had been there for over a year, weather-worn and unnoticed. What makes Asha's case even more difficult is the absence of digital clues. Unlike today's missing persons investigations, there's no phones to track, no social media to analyze, no surveillance footage of her route. Instead, the case hinged on eyewitness reports from drivers who saw her walking alone, the physical evidence of her packed bag, her bedroom door shut, and that book bag buried miles away. And time, precious time lost in those first critical hours. Here's what wasn't found. No signs of forced entry, a struggle, fingerprints, or forensic evidence that led to a suspect. No ransom note, no confession, no credible witnesses. The only possible vehicle sighting came years later. A tip about a green car, possibly early 1970s Ford Thunderbird or a Lincoln Mark V. That lead fizzled. So did many others. But silence doesn't mean absence. It might mean that the person responsible was very careful. A disturbing aspect of true crime is realizing that sometimes the case isn't isolated. Let's look at a few cases similar to Asha's in the region. Tionda and Diamond Bradley, Chicago, 2001. 2 sisters, ages 10 and 3, disappeared without a trace. Like Asha, they vanished from their home with no clear signs of forced entry, and their cases remain unsolved. Investigators considered whether a pattern of child abductions could be present, targeting young black girls, possibly by someone who knew how to operate under the radar. 𝒯𝒽𝓃 𝐼, Georgia, 1998, disappeared from her family gathering after going to wait for the ice cream truck. Like Asha, there were no known enemies and no known motives. In all 3 cases, the children were young, black, and disappeared under strange circumstances. Were they targeted because they were considered low risk by the predators who believed that no one would look hard enough? That belief is dead wrong, but sadly, it's a theme we see far too often in missing black, brown, and indigenous cases. It's part of the reason cases like Asha's don't get the media oxygen they deserve. Let's walk through each of these 3 working theories again, but with new depth. There's no evidence Asha was communicating with someone secretly, but consider this. She left voluntarily. She packed snacks, personal items, and she even zipped up her own bag and left quietly enough not to wake her brother, who was sleeping just feet away. The roads were wet, it was dark, the wind howled. She was fearful by nature. But what on earth made her brave the storm? One possibility is manipulation, that someone perhaps much older promised her something or made her believe she was going to meet someone she trusted. That would explain why she left with purpose and why she never turned back. The idea that Asha was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time is horrifying, but possible too. If someone saw her walking and seized the opportunity, it might explain the book bag being buried so far away. But then again, how did they know where she'd be? The road was not well lit, and the theory requires a dark coincidence. Some early reports claim that Asha had recently read the book The Whipping Boy, a story about a child who runs away and goes on an adventure, but her mother insists that she had no reason to run. And if she did, why didn't she make it past 1 mile before vanishing without a trace? The FBI continues to work this case even decades later. The reward currently stands at $45,000. They're especially interested in anyone who may have owned or wore a New Kids on the Block t-shirt like the one found, anyone who recalls seeing a child on Highway 18 that night, anyone who may have had access to Asha's route, especially someone she might have trusted. In 2020, the FBI said plainly, "We believe someone knows what happened to Asha. We need that person to come forward." Her mother, Aquila, said that she felt something the moment she woke up that morning and Asha was gone, a pain only a mother could feel. She still speaks about her daughter in the present tense, saying, "I believe Asha is still alive. I don't believe God brought us this far to leave us." Her family has kept her room untouched. They mark her birthday every year, and they've kept their daughter's story alive, even when the world forgot. Asha Degree walked into a storm and into a mystery, but she did not walk out of our memory. We share these stories not just to remember, but to act. Maybe the person who knows something is listening now. Maybe somebody saw something 25 years ago and stayed silent. Maybe this is your sign to speak up. Because silence only protects the guilty. The truth sets the captive free. If you know something, anything, call the FBI or the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, or leave a tip anonymously at fbi.gov/Asha Degree. I'm here to bring light where it's needed the most. Thank you so much for listening to Rebel with a Cause Called to the Case. Until next time, stay compassionate, stay hopeful, and stay called. Bye.